News segment time. The news. Okay, all right. Let's actually talk about this first one here. Okay, new scene. So, paying for peer review. Let's just go back to Just Camp.
Yeah, what does that mean?
So I was reading an article where scientists are peer reviewing articles and not getting compensated.
What's this to do with teachers?
Professors are teachers.
Oh, I was thinking like high school teachers.
No. Anyways, doctors and grad students or whatever, they're doing peer review and they're not getting compensated. They're doing this off hours. Because on hours they're working on experiments. Or if they are doing it on hours, they're not getting, they're still doing a lot more off hours. They show all this math. They're like, look how many hours. It's like $1 billion or something that's being lost to these scientists because they're not getting paid for peer review. And I was like, doesn't that defeat the purpose of peer review if you pay them?
What do you mean?
Because what if we do it on a quota system? Okay? So if we do it on a quota system, a scientist will literally try and do as many peer reviews as possible, which will just blatantly miss details that would be very important.
Okay.
And ruin scientific results. Okay, what about non-quota? Let's say if they just get compensated for the hours to do it. Then they're going to take as long as possible and nitpick every little detail to death more than they already do now, slowing down scientific achievement. I don't think they should get paid.
But what incentive do they have to do a good job?
They didn't have an incentive before. They're not going to get an incentive then. They're just going to get an incentive for doing it.
Yeah.
Because how do you gauge whether they did a good job at peer reviewing? You can't.
Wait, but you said they're...
It's just an idea. If they did, here's what would happen. Here's the $1 billion.
What's wrong with the second idea?
Like I said, they're going to nitpick it to death and slow things down. They're going to point details out that are... Well, they're pointless.
What do you mean? They don't have infinite time on the earth. They want to be doing their own research.
Yeah, but if they're getting paid a lot to do peer review, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, but they're not going to spend all their time on it.
I'm doing human nature. This is basic economics. People will abuse the system. You give them money, they abuse it. Why do you think we have billionaires?
But I think it's better to abuse it in that sense than to not pay them at all. Because what incentive do they have to do a good job?
They don't have an incentive in the other one to do a good job. There's no incentive.
They're getting paid.
That's an incentive just to do it, not to do a good job. Because you can't grade whether they did a good job or not. Oh, you caught 100 details. Well, 100 details, so half of those could be crap. There could be nothing. It could be literally, oh, you should have put a comma here instead of a semicolon. It doesn't make sense. It's pointless. You can't incentivize somebody to do a good job because good is subjective. And science is all about being objective. You can't apply numbers to feeling. Good isn't a subjective term. What you think is a good job at peer reviewing is not as good as whatever. It's different than mine.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You can't. And yeah, sure, maybe they should get compensated, but
I feel like not paying them is worse. Because now you're expecting them to read it on their own time. Now they have to find time out of their busy work schedule to read some article that they don't really want to read.
But they already do it now.
Yeah, but don't they get paid?
No! That's the whole point! The article was they're not getting paid for peer review. No one's getting paid for peer review. Unless they do it on the clock.
Yeah.
But they don't do it on the clock.
Why not?
Because they're doing it for the good of humanity. That's why a lot of people become scientists. They don't do it for the money. There's no money in science. You become an engineer if you want money.
Well, no. I mean, you get grants. They don't get money, but the research gets money. Because they don't get paid.
But this money this money they were saying was directly for the science. They didn't specify what the money would be used for, but I guess if you used it for grants. But again, though, you're still gonna have people abuse it. Honestly, some people see it. Some scientists see getting grant money as like they would do it they would be like more bloodthirsty than some billionaires trying to make a few extra dollars by making the plastic in your toy cheaper.
Okay.
Like, literally, billionaires will nickel and dime things to death.
Yeah.
If they can save a penny, they will do it.
Yes. Oh, I know.
I'm not saying penny per, like, item. I'm saying 1 penny today. They will freaking do it.
Yeah.
And so these scientists will do that on grants because it's human nature. They're greedy.
Yeah.
People are greedy. It's economics. And they do it just fine now without being compensated.
Well, you think it's just fine.
If they don't want to do it, they don't have to do it. But they're doing it because for the good of humanity.
Then why is it a big deal?
Yeah, I'm not making it a big deal.
Then why is there all these articles about it?
There was one article.
So then why do you bring it up like it's a big deal?
Because I thought it was a stupid idea.
Oh. Well, you brought it up like it's a big deal.
No. I just
So I was under the impression that it's a big deal and needs to be changed.
I don't know. Maybe the article played it up to that way. And I just thought, that's stupid. That doesn't work. That's not how science works. Science isn't about money. It's about discovery and the betterment of humanity. Progress.
Yes.
Economics is money.
I'm not arguing with you.
Oh. So do you think scientists should get paid then?
Yes.
I don't think they should.
Give them money. Give them an incentive to do a good job.
If they
I understand your definition of good job is subjective, but still give them an incentive.
But okay, so incentive to peer review well, but not an incentive to peer review.
I don't even know how you justify well. An incentive, give them money, just to obviously you don't give them enough to live off of, so it's not totally worth it, but it's like, hey, a few extra bucks to do this.
I don't know.
That's an incentive.
Yeah, but then all they have to do is like open 80 browser tabs, say they've read all these articles, say here's 80 things wrong with each one, and then just call it good.
Yes.
But they didn't actually
Some advice is better than none.
But they're not gonna. Maybe they don't even read them. They'll just open them, say there's something
wrong.
Some
advice is better than none.
Blind, random advice. They literally told you something was wrong when there was nothing wrong.
It doesn't matter. It's wrong is subjective.
No, they'll literally say, "Oh, your math is wrong. Like you should have done -1 instead of +1." When literally they were supposed to do what they did do. This guy is literally just writing random crap down so he gets paid.
How do you know this?
This is what people would do. This is what people do now.
I feel like the math thing doesn't make sense to me. You can't justify that because that is... The math thing is something that you cannot say math is wrong without giving a reason behind it.
His reason was, you should have done -1 and list a bunch of random crap. Because he's just going to write random gibberish.
But my point is
he
that
gets paid.
Some feedback is better than none.
Random gibberish is feedback.
Yes.
Oh, great. I've spent an hour reading something that's literally not jabberwocky.
How you take it is besides the point. How you interpret their advice is beside the point.
No, it's not. I'm saying,
my point is that you got advice.
I'm not saying they're actually giving you advice. They're literally opening 80 browser tabs, 80 different articles, hitting a randomizer and a word generator, generating a bunch of random crap and posting it.
My point is that some advice is still better than none.
But none of it's actual English. None of it's actual words. It's just random crap.
How do you know this?
This is what somebody would do. If you're
I want your source, though. I don't believe you.
You don't believe me that people are greedy enough to literally lie and cheat.
The average person, yes, not doctorates.
There are still doctorates
I
that will
want to
lie
see
and
your
cheat.
source, though, to believe you.
All right.
I want to see your source.
Do you want me to type in doctors that went to prison? You realize how many long that list is?
Yeah, pull it up. No, but for plagiarism. Specifically...
They're not doing plagiarism.
But that's my point. Doctorates don't do that.
Then it's not plagiarism.
But you're saying... Okay, my point is doctorates don't write random crap.
But
random strangers do.
But they're not being given money.
But
people change.
So you don't have any actual advice that people would do that.
I'm going based off of what is seen as a rational human being.
Yes, but you're basing your stuff off of the population as a whole. Specifically not doctorates.
You really think every single doctor on the face of the planet is a truth-abiding citizen? If they
The
are,
majority
they don't need
is.
the money then.
Yes.
But
They
you're
don't need the money, but hey, it's an extra incentive to do
But
it.
your logic, there's no point to give them the money in the first place. The $1 billion is pointless to give out.
But why not? Just a few extra. It's incentive.
Because it could corrupt the system. Money corrupts. Power corrupts. Power comes from money. Money develops power. Power corrupts.
Yes, but my point is that if you keep it to a minimum, obviously
It doesn't matter. There's no minimum on the amount of money that you can do because people will lie, cheat, and find a way to make as much money as possible. It does not matter. I don't care who they are. They will find a way to nickel and dime to death.
Yeah.
The professors are cheap sons of... They're cheap people, some of them. Especially in the econ department.
How so? How so?
Okay, well, it was the one econ professor, he literally would get up there and I don't get paid enough. I'm like, what? And he rolls up in this brand new jacket and like sweater. I've seen his car. It was a Mercedes. And I'm like, and they don't pay you enough?
I don't know.
The man makes 6 figures and he's like, I don't get paid enough. I'm like,
well, you don't know what kind of shit to do with his day.
he was literally like, he was complaining about doing his job. And I'm like,
Everyone complains about their job.
I'm like, it's your job. You get paid 6 figures. You know what I get paid, and I don't think I get paid enough for it.
Everyone. Are we yelling? Can they hear us?
No, they can't hear us. From the bottom, if the bottom floor can hear us outside,
Yeah,
I have some questions
they can hear us.
about how thin you would hear people having
They're-
sex 2 apartments down.
Well,
And I have yet to hear that.
well, no, maybe you just can't hear it through the walls, but the ceiling is paper thin.
You mean the floor?
Well, their ceiling is our floor. The ceiling is paper thin.
But I would still hear it.
No, but the ceiling, so they can hear us.
But I can't hear them?
Yeah, because the floor is thick.
What the
The ceiling's thin, but the floor is thick.
Wait a minute. That doesn't make any
So
sense.
it can't come up through the floor, but it can go through the ceiling because the ceiling is thin.
Alright, genius. Anyways, so we're both okay. You think maybe they should give some sort of that, but at the same time, there's no. You think that we?
Obviously, you can't pay them out to live off of it.
Yeah, I just see. I don't know. After watching about rational people, I really don't think there's any amount of money on the face of the planet that could literally make somebody think rationally completely, because people aren't rational.
No, the average person is not.
Doesn't matter who you are.
But you'd like to think that someone with a PhD...
They're not rational. They have a wife and kids. That literally makes them irrational. Right there.
What?
The fact that you have a wife makes you irrational.
How?
It's feelings. Love is irrational. There's no rationality there.
Well, not to you.
There's no rationality to anybody. None of it's rational.
What do you mean? You can't...
Feelings are irrational.
You can't
That's
quantify
by
it?
definition. You can't quantify happiness.
can't.
China tried,
You
but it doesn't work.
You can't.
Because all they discovered was pollution makes people unhappy. Oh, really? I could have told you that.
No, well, now they have a quantitative reason. You can
quantify.
quantify pollution.
Yeah, but you can't quantify happiness.
Yeah, sure you can. Quantify it based off of pollution.
What? No, I mean that's
It's
no.
directly
They're
proportional.
no. It's like on a scale of 1 to 10. How happy are you right now?
Yeah, that's a number. That's quantifying it.
Yes, but do you remember the hand job index and how many variables we were gonna have to give so we could figure out how good a prostitute was at certain parts of sex?
Oh, that's what you meant by
in
hand job.
general. Let's say, are they, like how they put numbers to quarterbacks and running backs?
Yeah, yeah.
So like some quarterbacks are
Yeah,
90s, some running backs are 80s.
you have statistics based off
So
of that.
now my point is, do you realize how many variables we need? And even then, it's an imperfect system?
Yeah, slightly.
Slightly. It's subjective.
No, it's pretty damn good.
One guy will think, hand jobs are better than blow jobs. Well, the other guy thinks the other way.
Well, then obviously there's a new column we need to add to fix the statistics.
There's not enough columns you can add for people.
What do you mean?
You would literally have to have a discrepancy for every single person.
Yeah, so
That's just
well, it's not pointless. It gets the job done.
we do that in economics, and we literally say the people are spheres and the people don't exist.
No, that's what physicists do.
They do it in economics too.
Oh, so you guys are physicists now.
When there's literally a thing called the velocity of money.
You guys approximate things as spheres and ignore air resistance.
Yep. You realize the velocity of money, there's no way to measure it. It's like the Schrodinger's cat of economics. You can't actually measure it. There's no way to measure it. Because it's just, I don't remember what it was.
I can tell you how fast money is leaving my account.
But, it's like...
I can tell you how fast money's coming in.
The thing was...
It's not fast enough.
It was because there's no way to track every single dollar in the system. And then also, there was another variable in there that was just like, we don't know what this variable is. We just assume it's this, but we have no idea. And it was literally like, we just have to assume the variable's this. And if the variable isn't this, well, then our whole fundamental idea of what the velocity of money is falls apart. Yeah. And this whole class is pointless. And I'm like...
Well, you'll figure it out eventually. Well, that's how I felt about quantum mechanics.
There's no way, because the rest of the equation depends on that variable. Yep. So if your answer doesn't equate out to what it should be, therefore your variable's wrong, but your equation was also wrong because your equation was based off the variable to begin with.
Yeah, that's how math works.
So you have to go back to the drawing board guessing about the variable. But if your variable's still wrong, your equation's still going to be wrong. And if your equation's still wrong, your variable's still going to be wrong.
Yeah, that's
how math works. No matter what you did, you couldn't fix the variable.
That's how math works.
But no, it's not like you could measure. Like in science, we could measure variables and figure out, oh yeah, okay, yeah, here. We can't measure it. It is just a random number applied to it.
No.
I think it was
like pi.
The multiplier. It was just pi is derived from circles.
It's a random number.
It's derived.
No, but you can't tell me exactly what it is.
Not yet.
What do you mean, not yet? No, you can prove it's irrational.
Not if we're in a simulation.
Oh, you think we're in a simulation?
I don't know. I don't think so.
So if we're in a simulation, then that means everything can be quantifiable because someone had to program it.
That is true.
Everything is quantifiable.
Well, unless they use a randomizer to
our
determine
love
feelings.
And happiness, everything is quantifiable because someone had to code it.
Unless they use randomizers.
Well, still, we'll just codify the randomizer. Decodify it.
What if in this other universe they're using
randomizer? Nothing is random. There's no such thing as a black box. There is something going on.
I thought you told me radioactive decay is completely random.
No, nothing is completely random.
I thought that was the whole point of Schrodinger's cat, was that when an atom, when it radioactive decays, it's completely random.
Oh, I don't know about that. Oh, well, but my point is that if it's not random, someone had to program it. You cannot program randomity.
Not unless they're using radioactive isotopes on the other end. So let's say they have a radioactive isotope that's determining all these other randomizers. So you decode them just to realize, oh, it's freaking random because, well, they're using a radioactive isotope.
Is radioactive decay random? I don't know.
You were the one that came up with that.
I don't remember.
Because we did it for the Schrodinger's cat video. And you were the one that had all the sources. So I'd assume it's correct.
Let's see.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. There's still more articles to get to. Well, after we forget this. Okay, it's a random process. There you go. Well, there's that question. That's ScienceDirect.com. That's a pretty trustworthy source.
Yeah, one would think, yeah.
All right, let's look at two more other articles here.
But I do know that random number generators are not random.
Of course not, because they had to be programmed.
Yes, that's my point.
Did I ever tell you about the iPod
but my point is
randomizer?
What?
Did I ever tell you about the iPod randomizer?
iPod, no.
So when Apple first released the iPod and the randomizer function, it was too random for people, and people thought it wasn't random.
What do you mean?
So they made a very sophisticated random number generator to determine when the next song in your playlist would play. Mm-hmm. However, because humans are humans, we detect patterns in nothing. That's what we do. And so people thought it wasn't random. And so Apple had to go in and tune it so that people didn't think it wasn't random. Even though they made it less random.
How did they make it? What? I don't follow. What do you mean it's too random?
Humans,
yes,
pick out random patterns in things.
Yeah.
The purest random things, we think there's a pattern there, even though there isn't a pattern because it's random. And that bugged people, that it was too random.
How?
Because people were picking out patterns that weren't there, and it was driving them insane.
So there wasn't a pattern there.
Right. But the problem is, people were upset because they thought there was. And they were telling Apple, your randomizer's not random. Even though it was so random that it was throwing these people off. iPod randomizer. Now this is old.
2015?
My iPod is for random. No. I mean, I don't know. I was told about this from my middle school math teacher.
Oh, there's this article.
But yeah, not as random as you think. Let's click on it. Or there's that conspiracy rigged.
I just saw some that's making less random.
During pseudo-random numbers. That a pattern isn't due to a failure of randomness or poor shuffling, but a laziness that sticks with whatever playlist was randomly generated in the first place. You expect it to be re-randomized every time you access the playlist, but that just isn't how it works. Oh, is that what it was?
So it's like, what, it was playing the same thing, or what?
Well, I bet that's what it was. So, because it's purely random, which means the same thing could play over and over and over again. And so theoretically, every time you hop on it, it could, the playlist could be...
Well, it should be like, after it's already played a song, don't play that one again. And now go...
Now it's not random.
What do you mean? Well,
Pure randomness should repeat.
Well, no. Yes, it could... pure randomness could repeat. But I still feel that, like, when you're listening to a song, you want to listen to all the songs. You just don't care what order they are. But
Apple didn't think this would bother. I don't know if that's what this was. This was each time they went to the playlist, the randomizer would re-randomize. It would re-randomize, but the probability of you getting the same thing, it felt like people were getting the same songs over and over again every time they went back on and redid it. And that was the problem. And so I'm assuming it had to...
Well, just keep a catalog. Don't play this song first again.
And I'm assuming that's what Apple did.
Yeah.
Don't play this song first next time you get on.
Yeah.
And actually, I wanted to do a test of Google's shuffle function on YouTube.
Yeah.
I wanted to make a playlist of 100 songs of a variety of views.
Okay.
And like popularity. And to see if YouTube was secretly making videos with more views pop up in the shuffle function more often than the other ones. Because when I listen, I swear to God, it will play like Taylor Swift's Me more than literally any other song. I'm like, there are 120 some odd songs in this playlist. And every single time within, I swear, the first 10, it will play that song. Despite the fact, I'm like, what are the odds of that? You know?
50-50. Either it does or doesn't.
No, okay. But it's like you have a 1 in 10 chance the first time.
Now
50-50. It's a 1 in 100. Now it's 1 in...
It's 50-50. Either it does or it doesn't.
Anyways, because first it's a 1 in 100. First, like, it's a 1 in 100. Then you multiply that by 2. That it's going to potentially play a second time. You have to do the numbers get astronomical. And we could easily test to see if it's random.
You should.
Well, it would literally take me weeks to do. Because I was going to do a proper amount of tests. But I don't have...
Hey, you should start it at least. Let me know how it goes.
Yeah. You'll have to wait a while longer for NASA's Artemis mission. Oh, now NASA is expected to launch the uncrewed Artemis Flight 1 test in February. You know when I heard about this?
Yeah.
So, Congress, they heard wind of this whole spiel with Bezos not being a part of the Artemis mission.
Yeah.
And so the Senate was like, hey, NASA, you're going to include a second company whether you like it or not. And we're going to give you an extra $100 million.
Oh.
Despite the fact that they were already underfunded for the original program. And then they thought, here, add a second company, but you only have $100 million. Let's just say this. I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to have to, like, they're going to have to pay SpaceX literally nothing. Just tell them, hey, build us a rocket for free. Thanks.
Why?
Because they don't have the money to pay SpaceX and another company.
Ooh.
Because they were paying SpaceX $2 billion, and that was the whole funding for the whole budget.
Mm.
Every other company wanted well above $2 billion.
Really?
Yes. And that was just one company. Now they have to pay two companies, which they already promised SpaceX $2 billion. And now they have $100 million to give to another company that they're not going to have them. That's not going to be enough. But Congress is like, you're going to do it. And you're going to like it. All because I'm pretty sure Jeff Bezos paid them off. And some other company was pissed too. I'm sure they went to the Senate, paid off some senators, and boom, now they got forced. But I wonder what's delaying Artemis till February. I mean, they're always delaying it. So they were supposed to have people. They were supposed to have boots on the moon like 2020.
I want my water.
Yeah, I'm out of water too. Anyways, the testing could take a while long, and the Space Agency plans tests for interferences in engineering. Oh my god. Interfaces, engineering, communications, and the countdown system. You need to test the count. I mean, you should, but at the same time, you need to run a lot of tests. The most important test is effectively the wet dress rehearsal when Artemis 1 will launch. Oh, yeah. So I read so people were talking about, like, how NASA, they were talking about how SpaceX and Jeff Bezos' Blue Origins do things differently when it comes to doing research. And it was fascinating. So, basically, the work environment at SpaceX is arguably worse. They get paid less, and they work way more hours.
Yep, wouldn't surprise me.
However, the atmosphere at SpaceX is that of a startup. So everybody's got this buzz, like they're doing something good. They're building something.
Yeah.
And then when they're working at Blue Origins, it's like, go on vacation again next week after you just got back from vacation 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Yep. No one wants to work.
And so and also Blue Origins is just bleeding engineers, and they're all going to SpaceX to, I guess, work to death for little to no pay, and then.
Well, yeah. Why would you want to do that for the boss that doesn't give you a thank you?
Does Elon give thank yous?
I don't know. I just remember that everyone was giving what was it, Bezos crap for not giving a thank you. He's like, look what we can do or whatever. He's like, you guys sent me to space.
Oh yeah, he didn't say thank you. He was just like, you guys did this. You and every single Amazon customer. Not the employees. No, sorry. He thanked the customers, not the employees. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amazon customers. It's like, but not your employees.
Nope. Sorry.
Screw them.
Do better next time.
They should be machines. Honestly, Amazon wants them to be all machines.
Yep.
But I think actually what's limiting them is that it would just piss too many people off if they went to all machines because they lay off so many people.
Yeah, I don't want them to program a machine to throw my package at the door.
I don't think that'll be machines, not for a while. Have you seen the machines that deliver
Because
packages? People just push them over.
They'll have a self-driving car with the sunroof, and then just an arm that just catapults
it's like Dr. Seuss.
Yeah. And it'll have a catapult up the top, just and just
right through the window.
Yes. Right through the
just a shard of glass sticking out of your neck. There's blood going everywhere.
What the heck?
Oh, my package.
Oh, my package is here.
No, but it lands just right on your lap, but there's a shard of glass in your neck with blood spraying out. You're like, my package. Dead.
Yeah. That's pretty much how it'll go.
Oh, you buy a weight set?
Could you imagine?
What was that? Just your whole freaking side of your house just gets blown in because of how much force is needed to move was effectively half a ton.
No, they're going to throw it at your doorstep. And it just brings the whole door down.
No, but have you seen those little robots that deliver packages?
No.
And people just go and like tip them over, and then like they use them at like some college campuses to deliver like letters and stuff between offices.
And people just tip them over.
Yes.
Yes.
Or they'll draw like a chalk line around them, and it like just confuses them, and they stop.
Yes. It's like Big Brother picking on Little Brother.
There was people were talking about how if you wanted to summon your Tesla right now, it wouldn't get out of the parking lot if somebody boxed in the lines. But then Elon's like, we're fixing that in the next update. It won't do that anymore.
Someone boxes in the lines. Oh, what do? It looks like I can't leave.
Yeah, because it's designed to stay in the lines, and so it can't cross them. Anyway.
Oh, so are they going to fix it? Other than look at the, I can't.
I'm in a parking spot.
I'm in a parking spot. I can clearly back up.
Yes. Not like you're on the highway. It's like, meow. So yeah, basically they're just delaying it because they want to do more tests of the systems. But it's also like one of the things was...
Well, that's also like there was a person who was walking their bike across the intersection and the car hit them because it didn't know what to do because it has an algorithm for a person walking. It has an algorithm for a person walking their bike. But it didn't have an algorithm for a person walking their bike. And
so you'll have an algorithm for somebody walking and somebody for an algorithm on a bike, but not for somebody walking
on a bike, walking with their bike. And so it was like, what do I do?
Hit them.
Yeah, hit them. It was deciding, what do I do? Well, I guess that solved that.
Don't hit them.
Stop. There's something in the road.
Did they have to make an algorithm for people walking dog with bike?
I don't know what they did. It was in the Veritasium video. I thought you watched it.
Maybe it did. I don't remember that one. Anyways, point is, so no, this also reminds me. So like at Blue Origins, there is no room. There is no like prototyping. We're gonna make one rocket and it's gonna work. As we're at SpaceX, Elon's like, we're gonna make 80 rockets, and if only one works, so be it.
Well, I'm glad Elon does that because after his first few launches,
Hey, those things took off. They just didn't land.
They sure did take off, and they had quite a spectacular
landing. Okay, the very, very first SpaceX rocket.
Spectacular landing.
The Falcon 1.
Whatever that was, and it came back down just...
Yes, those. But this new Starship ones... They all took off. None of them blew up. They all blew up when they landed, though.
Yes. Yeah, they're not too keen on the landing.
Hey, if it gets me into orbit and gets me on the space station, so be it. I'll just take a Soyuz down.
A Soyuz rocket?
Soyuz capsule that the
plane?
Russians use.
Oh, yeah?
Although I don't know, because apparently the Russians have caused multiple incidences this year that have sent the space station to red alert.
Or you could just write an asteroid down, since they seem to land nicely on pillows.
Apparently. Yes, I just like grab it like Thor with his hammer, and just
Nice little soft landing.
just land next to somebody in the bed. Sup?
So,
Here, just ham the meteor. It's like, what? And it's like, it's the best way to get down. It's like, oh, it's like throwing the hammer in the water to break your fall.
I think Mythbusters tried that, didn't they?
It didn't work.
It didn't? Really?
No.
But you broke the water tension.
It wasn't enough.
Really?
Buster still flew apart into a billion pieces.
And did they try it with the piano?
No.
Well, you got to use some, because I bet they used a
This
bowling
was their first season.
They probably used a bowling ball, right?
No.
What'd they use?
A hammer.
No! That's dumb. You got to use a wider surface area than the object. So if there's a person falling.
Well, the test was a hammer.
No. Well, that's dumb. They should have retested it, but something with a larger surface area than the thing that's falling.
Well, they actually, so at the time, so I learned how they got their test dummies.
Yeah.
So you're not, so yours, guess how much do you think a crash test dummy is worth?
100 grand.
You are correct.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh my god. I want to say.
That's the second time today.
I haven't said it though.
No, it's the second time today that you've guessed right.
I know, no, but I want to say the word yes.
Slut?
No.
Anyways.
It's a synonym for butt.
Donkey. Just say donkey.
I pulled that number out of my donkey.
You could say slut.
Out of my slut. But I don't have a slut.
That's your problem. You had that COVID one.
COVID slut?
They gave all you and your roommates COVID.
No, that was my roommate's slut.
It's a joint slut.
But it wasn't my slut. I don't have a. I never had
her COVID, and you got it.
Yeah. Whatever. I pulled the number out of my donkey.
Oh wow, that must have hurt the donkey.
I guess.
Anyway, no, but yeah, they're $100,000. MythBusters could not afford a $100,000 crash test dummy.
Why not?
They didn't. It was their first season.
Oh.
They didn't have. They had like $10 to their name.
Yeah.
And also, the agencies that give out crash test dummies, they're not just supposed to give out crash test dummies, apparently.
Well, they do to Mythbusters.
Oh, no. All the future crash test dummies they got, they had to buy full price.
Really?
Yes.
They didn't help them out? Because, like, oh, it's Mythbusters.
Okay, the first time they did.
Really?
They're like, we'll get you a Gen 3, but we want it back. And so, after the Hammer episode, Jamie Heidemann had to go with a scuba gear, because he was scuba certified, as you know. And he had to go with scuba gear and fish around the bay for hours, look off the clock, looking for the pieces of Buster.
Did he find it?
Yeah.
Did they piece them back together?
Yep.
Did they hand it to him? They're like, what the hell is this crap?
Pretty much.
What the hell is this crap?
The agency took him back, but it was just like, and, you know, they got another one, but it was just like, they're super strict about these crash test dummies for some reason.
Why?
I don't know.
Why is it $100,000?
To mimic human bodies is apparently very expensive, and this was $2,001.
Oh my bad.
That was 20 years. That was 21.
Well, I think you said it was $100,000. You said
in 2001. I don't know what they are now. They could still be $100,000. They might be inflation resistant, but if they aren't, they're $200,000. They're as much as a house.
Yeah.
They're probably more than that. They probably have a supply chain issue, like everything else, like damn French fries.
Yeah.
Anyways, last article. Oh yeah, when it comes to solar farms,
sheep
make great housekeepers. I mean, Truman
had
sheep on the ground keepers. I mean, grounds keepers. Anyways, I mean, Truman had sheep on the White House lawn.
So,
what makes them any better than a cow? I mean, cows do like to rub on things. Sheep typically don't do that as much. But they're both large, quite flat, and get a good amount of sun, being free from tall vegetation as much as such. I mean, this is why you put them in the desert, but I guess if you have to put them like here in Nebraska, I suppose, letting the sheep get fed, the farmers get paid, and the solar producers. Oh, so basically they're just paying sheep producers.
Yeah.
To let their sheep come and graze here.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, the farmers are getting paid to let their sheep graze here. Damn, the farmers would do it for free. To be honest, you know how much pasture rent is? It's expensive.
Yeah.
Damn, and these guys are getting paid for it. Tell my dad to get in this solar panel sheep program.
Yeah.
They do look happy. That's actually some pretty decent looking grass. So, you know, they're crawling underneath the damn solar panels. Although, I don't know how sheep like to crawl on top of things. Like goats. Like, those are lambs right there. If I was a lamb, I would be crawling all over that.
Not those.
These must be well-behaved lambs.
Yeah.
My dad's lambs were not well-behaved. Oh. They crawl on their mothers and lay on top of them because, well, the ground's cold and wet and muddy, but your mother's nice and dry and warm.
Exactly.
So you'll have like a ewe with like 4 lambs on top of her. Some of them weren't even hers. Anyways,